Amir borrowed new clothes, new-ish, he replied. William says, cleared his throat, and would make ready to give another one of his inspiring yet humble speeches. Alan says, chuckles for about the last hour. Latonia says, keeps her stoic savage expression, not understanding the funny thing about collars.
Wild One says, laughs at a mere bot? Or borrowed haha.
William shouts, Tal, warriors, scribes, builders, physicians, and all who stand free under the three moons. Yes, I see you panther girls. Tal, Kajiri, and Kajiris, who grace our gathering with beauty and service. We stand this day in the shadow of the mighty Sardar, where the winds carry the ancient whispers of the priest-kings, and the soil itself remembers the tread of countless pilgrims who have come before us. This is Ankara, the first turning, the vernal awakening when Lar Torvis begins its climb anew, and the world of Gore renews its strength. Amir borrowed, air temporarily acquired. He looked at her, then spanked Mel. Octavius stands next to the Bosque, feeding it tidbits and calming it.
Amalia says, thank you, Master.
Latonia says, looks around seeing no forest women, shrugging her shoulders at this. William shouts. Once again, the caravans have converged, the pavilions rise like banners of 1,000 cities, the stalls brim with the wealth of 1,000 journeys, and the neutral ground of the fair welcomes all. Here, sword is sheathed not from fear, but from honor. Here, banners of southern cities beside those of Pawnee, Skindi, Panther tribes, Torvalds land, and in the wild wagons of the southern plains. Yet no blood feud stains the earth. For at the fairs of Ankara, we are bound not by city or caste alone, but by the greater home, stone we all share, the love of Gore itself. Alan says, glances behidden him, this really going to take over 2AHN? Samuel chuckles quietly. Saka says, maybe 3 of 4. William shouts, in this time of gathering, we mark another chapter in our living history. We come from BTB paths and GE, from strict codes and freer interpretations, from distant sims and long-forged alliances. Yet today, those lines blur. We are one people under the same sky, one community forged in the fire of shared passion for this counter-Earth. We set aside old rivalries, old labels, old divisions, and we celebrate what unites us, the unyielding spirit, the iron will to live true, the bonds of loyalty, honor, and desire that make us Gorian. Alan says, oh boy, I don't think I can make it that long. Where's Muse at? Her tavern open yet?
Becca applauds. Wild One says, applauds loudly for the uberate. Well said.
William shouts, this Ankara Fair 2026 is more than tents and trade, more than games and auctions, more than the laughter of free companions or the grace of silk-clad Kajiri. It is a testament to our endurance, our renewal, our unbreakable unity. Let no man or woman here forget. We are stronger together. Samuel nods and applauds. Latonia says, wishes more red savages of her people were here.
Iona says, real evil industries.
Nicholas says, greetings one and all. Looks around. Latonia says, Hoakisita. Latonia says to Nick. William shouts, this year Paradox Nova and I are pleased to serve as the Ubart and welcome you to the fair. So raise your pega, lift your voices and hail, and let the drums of the fair echo through the valleys. On behalf of my very hard-working staff and team of builders, welcome Gorians. Welcome to Inkara, the Sardar. Jezin almost casually glances at his slave, seeing her legs spread wide open before free women. He doesn't speak. He simply unclips his goad, turns the setting to its highest, and presses it between her thighs, and says simply, you will tower when we are at a public event, and then presses the stud to jolt her in a spasm of pure pain.
Wild One says, leans over to Samuel, the Uberate speaks very well.
Eagles hoots, ta Sardarkor.
Gorum sots, the Sardarkor.
Wild One says, Ta Sardar Gor. Seth says, Ta Sardar Gor.
Astari, the Sardarkor. Samuel sots, the Sardarkor.
Ella says, Ta Sardar Gor.
Octavius sots, the Sardarkor. Amir glue, he shouts impulsively. Yes, indeed the man hit his head hard, being used as a battering ram. Side effects. It was likely he meant something about being stronger together in agreement. Or perhaps he was selling glue. Did he play a practical joke on someone? William says, may the priest kings watch over us. May the central fire burn bright. And may this fair forge new legends for the years yet to come. Blessed Tarek will now carry out his traditional opening and blessing of the fairgrounds. May the priest kings watch over us. May the central fire burn bright. And may this fair forge new legends for the years yet to come. Blessed Tarek will now carry out his traditional opening and blessing of the fairgrounds. Daisy is just starting to cry out, "Ta," then biting the back of her hand, trying to muffle a squeal from the sudden shock of the goad. She doubles over for a moment, huffing out, Sardargor, finishing her sentence with a few tears streaking down her cheeks. Tarek shouts, Tal, and welcome to the Ankara Fair.
Wild One shouts, Tao Blessed One.
Tarek shouts, stand before the pillar of sacrifice where a huge white bull bosk is tethered, awaiting its fate calmly. Around the animal's neck is a garland of spring flowers. Beside it stands the initiate caste facilitator, the subordinate whose duty it is to slaughter the beast, since fully consecrated initiates are forbidden by their caste codes to handle weapons or shed blood. Tarek nods to the man and says, greetings, facilitator. Is all in readiness? Octavius shouts, yes, blessed one.
Iona says, Real Evil Industries.
Tarek shouts, turns toward the sacred mountains looming over this valley, and raises his arms, murmuring a prayer to the holy ones that he may worthily carry out this service and correctly read the omens. He bows his head silently for a moment, waiting for any sign that may be given him, then turns back to face the bull again. Fagaban says, like a bolt of lightning? Tarek shouts, good people, you have gathered here from many cities and regions of Gore to fulfill your obligation of pilgrimage decreed by priest kings and to attend the Sardar fair. Here, upon this most holy ground in Gore, you will each offer to priest kings the honor due them. Look toward the Sardar mountains and know the power of priest kings, which is more mighty than these tall crags which are their home. You have survived the long and dangerous journey to be here. May priest kings grant you success in your time at the fair and a safe return to your own city. Now search your heart, each one of you, and see if it is pure before the holy ones as we offer them sacrifice. The initiate pauses and ends. The initiate makes a sweeping gesture, taking in the pillar of sacrifice. Here, today, I will offer this bosk as a sacrifice to priest kings, asking them to make known to me by the omens they reveal if there is any among these visitors who is not acceptable to the holy ones. Join with me in praying that the omens may be favorable. So be it. The initiate turns to face the bosk standing on the pillar of sacrifice and the facilitator standing near it. He raises his arms in the gesture of the eternal circle, calling on priest kings to witness the offering and chants. In supplication, I, your anointed one, now offer this sacred white bosk, bred in the temple's own herd and raised in the temple's own pastures, a bosk without fault or blemish, perfect as you, priest kings, are perfect to be a spotless sacrifice to you. Send your favor upon us for the Sardar fair. We entreat you, and give us good omens. Octavius feeds the Vosk another tidbit. Tarek shouts. The facilitator stands on the platform of the pillar of sacrifice. He removes the wreath from around the Bosk's neck and sets it aside, then draws a small knife from his pouch. With the blade, he cuts a strand of hair from the Bosk's coat and casts it into the brazier where the sacred fire flickers. At a gesture from the celebrant, the facilitator takes the sacred blade and cuts the throat of the Bosk, catching its blood in a bowl. He cuts out the dead Bosk's liver, places it within the divination bowl, and slices it open, then shows it to the initiate. Samuel mumbles more to himself. Seeing that I start to get hungry. Latonia says, gross. Tarek shouts. The initiate studies the organ in the divination bowl for a long, careful moment. At last he straightens and, raising his hands, he turns to the people and says, "The omens are favorable. The favor of the holy ones rests upon the fair and those who attend the fair. Let all now praise them and their mercy. Let all here say, thanks be to priest kings. Praise their holy name. Da Sardar Kor."
Azuri wrinkled her nose at the sight of the sacrifice before relaxing.
Trik sots da Sardar Kor.
Jessica says, praise their holy name.
Vinyam sots da Sardar Kor. Asti says, thanks be to priest kings. Praise their holy name. Da Sardar Kor.
Wild One says, thanks be to priest kings. Praise their holy name.
Ta Sardar Kor. Eagles hoots, ta Sardar Kor.
Turgeon says, T.A. Sardar Gor. Latonia says, would not praise, as her people did not worship the priest kings.
Anna leans in and listens.
Samuel notes the Sardar kor.
Niobe says, "Thanks be to priest kings. Praise their holy name."
Ta Sardar kor.
Tarek says, the celebrant gestures to the facilitator, who takes the bloody liver which has given evidence of the favor of priest kings and good omens for the fair. The facilitator sets the liver in the bowl where the flame burns, and the organ is consumed, an offering to priest kings. As the liver is consumed, the initiate chants, "As this offering now burns upon the pillar of sacrifice, so may our hearts burn with complete devotion toward you. Holy ones, cleansed of all fault. May we ever remain secure within the protection of your eternal circle." Samuel turns to his companion. "Do you think they serve blood sausage in the tavern?" Tarek shouts. The celebrant gestures to the facilitator, who takes the bloody liver which has given evidence of the favor of priest kings and good omens for the fair. The facilitator sets the liver in the bowl where the flame burns, and the organ is consumed, an offering to priest kings. As the liver is consumed, the initiate chants, "As this offering now burns upon the pillar of sacrifice, so may our hearts burn with complete devotion toward you. Holy ones, cleansed of all fault. May we ever remain secure within the protection of your eternal circle." Octavius displays the empty bowl, showing that the liver has been entirely consumed, a good omen.
Wild One says, pokes Samuel and frowns at him before turning back to the ritual.
Tarek shouts. The initiate steps forward and addresses the gathering. Asterisk. Good people, you have spent many days and weeks traveling here from far places all across Gore, daring all the hazards and discomforts of the road and the ever-present threat of outlaws and brigands. I hope you will enjoy the rest of the time of the fair and have success in your activities here. May the merchants gain good coin, and the cities which have set up tents gain good repute for their people. Trig breathes a sigh of relief. Samuel rubs the spot she poked him. Tarek shouts. He raises his arms and blesses the gathering with the sign of priest kings, the symbol of the eternal circle. He ends his speech with the words, "Priest kings bless and guard you, keeping you ever within their protection, and light your steps." Sardar kor.
Wild One says, "Ta Sardar Gor."
Gorm shouts, "Tal Sardar Gor." Samuel chants, still rubbing the spot, "Ta Sardar Gor." Octavius watches as slaves section the carcass of the bosque and carry the meat away for the feast to come. Trig says, "Ta Sardar Gor." Jezin says, "Ta Sardar Gor."
Niobe says, "Tardar Gor."
Padre says, "Ta Sardar Gor." Tarek says, "Happy Inkara."
Loniki says, "Ta Sardar Gor."
Waffle says, "Cheers."
Niobe says, "Same to you, blessed one." Bow deep her head in respect.
Tarek says, bows to William and walks off the field. Trigg says, thank you, blessed Tarek.
Niobe says, as she see flames in the air hover near the blessed one head.
Sokka says, Huzzah tranquil. William shouts, thank you all, please enjoy the fair, and let myself or any of the staff know if you have any problems or compliments. I hope you all have a wonderful time and create stories and memories.
Wild One turned to Samuel. Okay, now we can go and you can feed your face. Niobe says, yes, master, thank you.
Mad Shepherd says, Paradox is a hottie. There's a compliment. Asti says, so is William asterisk grins. Amir shouts, I want to take a moment to offer a prayer for Feather and send her good wishes and good vibes, blessings and strength, and hopes she's surrounded by loved ones.
Wild One says, don't forget, Dezer, we still have to go to the carnival. Muse says, and we are off, smiley face. Wild One says, oh, that's sweet, Amir. Dear asterisk.
Samuel nods, we sure will, I want a hat. Something to show at home. Nicholas says, sighs.